Shall we are starting, so I'll just give a message. When I say okay, you can start.
You'll be sharing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone. A very good morning. Firstly, I would like to welcome all of you to explore the endless study opportunities in the UK with Cambridge Education Group FP Live series. My name is Shari Isaac, and I'm a senior consultant at AECC Sri Lanka, and I will be your host today. Before we go ahead and start today's session, I would like to give you a brief introduction about who we are. aeccglobal Global has a rich and a long history of 13 years in the student placements and have been helping students across the globe to realize their international education dreams. We represent over 500 top universities and institutions around the world and offer end-to-end counseling and application management services to students who seek overseas education in destinations like Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, UK, and USA. We are currently operating in 12 countries worldwide with more than 35 offices. We provide free of charge services to our students, and some of them include consultation for destination and university selection, application guidance, applying for scholarships, guidance on finances and visa applications, and pre-departure services. Could you move to the next slide? Yeah, so these are, as you can see on the slide, these are the countries that we are currently located in, which is India, Philippines, Australia, Nepal, Greece, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Sri Lanka, Vietnam, and Bangladesh. So as I mentioned earlier, these are the services that we provide to all our students worldwide. And it's a free of charge service to all our students. So to start today's session, I would like to warmly welcome our two special speakers, the Regional Director of University of Southampton, Ms. Donna Haynes, and South Asia Manager for On-Campus Education, Pranesh Kumar. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And so our first speaker is Ms. Donna Haynes, who will be telling us more about the University of Southampton, which is a founding member of the Russell Group and a research incentive university. She has been working as a regional director for the EU, UKI, Russia, CIS, Central and South and Southeast Asia team. She has worked at the University of Southampton for over 10 years in the student recruitment sector, and she is also a qualified coach and a volunteer business mentor for career services, and also a harassment contact for the university. Today, she will be speaking about the latest updates on COVID and how UK is responding to it, particular plans for international students during the pandemic, and the support provided by the universities, and the courses mostly picked by the university students in South Asia regions. Once again, welcome to today's session, Donna, and over to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. A little bit about Southampton, where we're located. I came to Southampton via Moscow, so I'm a bit of a Russian geek. And when I came back to the UK, I was born in London, and location was really, really important. So I was looking for a southern university to work in. And so Southampton was really, really useful for me because it's very close to London. It's very well connected. Plus it's on the sea. Now, if any of you know where sort of like Mumbai, then Southampton is like Pune, but by the sea. So it's sort of close to a major city, London, Manchester. We're close to Birmingham, Cardiff, and other major cities. But we are close to the sea. It's a tourist area, but also quite an industrial area. So it's a very good place to be. So you have a bit of everything. So it's one of the things that I really like about Southampton. And also, these are some of the things I'll be talking about today. So a little bit another bit about why I like the sea. I'm actually do quite a bit of paddle boarding and kayaking. So it's something, if it's something that you have never done before, when you come to Southampton, do try it. And the other thing is it's such a beautiful area. So these are some of the very local area. The horse is one of the New Forest ponies, and I can get there on my bike in about 15 minutes, depending on how fast I ride. And yes, beaches are close to us, okay? Now, as for Southampton academically, we are ranked 77th in the world. We're a Russell group, and we're 14th in the UK. So we're a very good university, red brick. And I think that if you come to the University of Southampton, you will get a good mixture of theory and practical. So students, when they come to us, what they find is they get that little bit of theory, but they've got to apply it. We want our students to apply the knowledge that they gain. We have something like 22 to 23,000 students, and 30% almost are from about 135 countries. We have a number of campuses. So we have a campus in Malaysia where we teach engineering and business, but we also have Highfield where we teach, which is our main campus where I work. A very short away from it is Boulderwood, where we teach engineering. And then we have the medicine. We have a National Oceanographic Centre. So that's on the next to where the Titanic sailed. And then we teach humanities and art. So we have Avenue and Winchester campus. This is just a map to just put that into perspective where the different campuses are. Now, the university has a great resources. We have a number of libraries with millions of books, gyms. We offer students free support in English, free support in academic studies. So sometimes students maybe struggle slightly with understanding how to write assignments. So we will offer you this support. We've offered it throughout the pandemic, and it's something that I think that not just the University of Southampton, but other universities offer as well. But we really do try to support our students. We have 5 faculties. So we offer art and humanities, engineering, physical science, and I'm sure medicine, social sciences. So what are the top courses or most popular courses for South Asian students? Well, art and design is growing in popularity. Engineering has always been popular. I was talking to a student recently who told me that he had to, as part of his course, he was fitted the wings of a Red Bull Formula One vehicle. And he said it was so exciting. And, to hear a student talk about the opportunities that he'd had working in the Mitchell Tunnel, the wind tunnel with Formula One was really, really sort of exciting to hear, because I saw the sort of the passion and the joy in his eyes. We also teach acoustical engineering, which is not just about like a DJing, it's about sound, vibration, making things louder, making things quieter. And I will say it has one of the highest rates of employability. So it's not something that a lot of students choose, but they do get employed. So these are some of the courses that we offer that are really popular. In undergraduate medicine, and electrical engineering, computer science, and we do a 3-year and 4-year integrated masters as well. Aeronautics, mechanical engineering. We also do others, the acoustical and the biomedical, but also our business courses are really popular. And things like we have a new program, or we released a new program last year, which was economics and data science. And that is something that is popular with students. So they learn the economic side, but they also learn that data, which is becoming more and more in demand as we move on to postgraduate taught students. MSc data sciences and computer science are probably our most popular courses, along with accounting and finance and business analytics. But those are very, very popular. If you've done an undergraduate course on mechanical engineering, then we have 4 pathways into advanced mechanical engineering, which is very popular as well. So we do computational, mechatronic. Mechatronic is to allow students who maybe have the mech eng side to move into that electronics side. And also propulsion. I have a student at the moment that's studying propulsion space systems, and also engineering science. And again, clinical psychology is really popular, and data and decision analytics. So lots of things to do with data are now growing in popularity within the South Asia. Now, we mentioned quarantine, and we mentioned COVID. What it's been a tough couple of sort of 18 months, I would say, not just for companies like AECC to support students, but also for universities to work with companies like ONCAMPUS and AECC in our partnership to try and give that support to students. And specifically, obviously, in quarantine, because students have to quarantine. A lot of them do. So how have we kept our campuses safe? Well, one thing that the university has is a test and trace system. We have a school of medicine, so we've introduced our own saliva testing. Students can get tested as soon as they come to the UK. We have, temperature checkpoints. We've reduced our class sizes, which doesn't mean that everything's been remote. Yes, initially there were a lot of courses went online, but if you look at something like some of the courses like chemistry, they've been teaching face-to-face since March. Students who need access to the labs have been able to access labs. I think the main thing where in the teaching aspect has been large lectures. So large lectures have, where we're talking 50 to 100, which tend to be core lectures. So what happens is you have a core lecture, and then you'll start to have smaller tutorials and seminars and group work. And so the large lectures have tended to be, if they're a core lecture, been online, but they've always been recorded anyway. And I think what the beauty is now is that we have given extra support for students. So students have not only been able to get online support, but offline as well. And we intend to continue that. So from September, we will be face-to-face. We have been face-to-face since April the 12th, we went face-to-face. So we will be face-to-face from September. And what will happen for new students? Well, the plan is in the UK that all new and returning students will be invited, or should be invited, to get a COVID-19 vaccine. After either quarantining in the UK or after arriving on campus if they're a UK student, and if they haven't been vaccinated, because a lot of the population, well over half of the population has had 2 vaccines. And one of the things that wherever you go, students should register with a health centre or their GP on arrival to get access to vaccinations, and obviously healthcare. Vaccinations are not mandatory, but we are encouraging students to get COVID testing and to also get the vaccinations to basically support you and to make sure that you're protected. That's all it is. We don't want our students to get ill. We want to make sure that you are well protected and safe. And as I mentioned, we have a testing program, which is saliva testing. I've used it. We encourage students register when they come to the UK, and they can get tested weekly. and basically you just need a UK SIM, but that is when on arrival. Now I'm going to go on to accommodation. We've had to adapt our accommodation. So if you came and did your quarantine in the university halls, you would get an ensuite room, you get a bedding pack, you would get a food pack. And for students that have to, that maybe from red list countries, we are reimbursing quarantine costs. And that's something that we've done. One of the other things that University of Southampton has, and I will boast about this, we probably have the best meet and greet service in the UK. We have met every student that has arrived in the UK either by taxi or bus since since September 2020. We have done that, and we ensure that students get here safely and get onto campus or to their private accommodation safely. All of our accommodation is guaranteed for international students for the full duration of their studies. So if you're an undergraduate student, then that will be 3-4 years. Mostly students do it 1 year, 2 years maybe, and then they will break off and maybe go to stay with other friends. They'll share a house or something, become more independent. And all of our accommodation, you know, insurance is included, but also every student gets what is known as a Unilink bus pass, so that they can travel around the city. And if you know, we have, this is free. It's one of the services that we offer, and we have a very big bus service. And you know, all of it is quite different accommodation, but all single room, from studios upwards. So these are some of the views, and you know, sort of Glen Eyre, which is really popular with South Asian students. You know, you can have barbecues, there's a gym, there's a laundrette, there's squash courts. So facilities are very good as well. And also, if you're into music, there's a jam room. Now, year in employment. So we offer, as part of your course, you could do a placement year, or you could do a year in employment. So it's a great opportunity to work, to get that experience. I would always urge students to do part-time work at the very least. You know, maybe not immediately, but when you get to the UK, please do. If you're an undergraduate, you know, try some part-time work. At the moment, there is a lot of part-time work available, and I know that students are you know, sort of taking up the opportunities that are available to them, not just to earn money, but it is actually quite fun, because you have no real responsibility. You can, you know, if you work in different areas. I know students that from South Asia who will take, you know, when they come back, they say, oh, you know, I worked at Subway, I worked at Mackie D's, or I worked on campus. And they said, I would never have done that in my own country, but I absolutely loved it. So it's fun. It's great experience. You have to apply for these jobs, so you start to understand the application procedure. If you do a year in employment or a placement, they are usually paid. So I've just had a student who's just completed his year of employment, and he was earning £16,500 for that year. And also your fees are reduced by 80%, so you pay 20%. And obviously I'm one of the volunteer business mentors, and so these are supported by our careers service. So just to put it into context, you know, they can be 30 weeks to 12 months. They can be anywhere within your, apart from medicine, depending on what course you're doing, but generally it will be in your degree certificate that you've done a year in employment. If you're as an international student, you would need to amend your visas, but we have a visa team that can help you with that. And generally it's the second and third year of academic year. Now, a placement year is slightly different. So for example, if you do a placement year with, say, ship science, generally it will be the second or third year, but some are third to fourth year if you do a integrated master's. So the business entrepreneurship, management, finance and accounting, they all have, and marketing, they all have placement years. I really encourage students to take these opportunities up, that you get to do to earn money, to be more independent, but also supported by the university. So it's a really, really good opportunity to boost your career. I really do mean that. We've had students that have started in the top 4, so have worked, Deloitte. An example would be you start in the first year and you work with the placement team. So they start to coach you and mentor you to get these courses, to get onto to get an application. I remember talking to a student, a placement officer, and she said, sometimes it's things like just working with a student to get their skills in English for interview environment. I mean, having lived in Russia, I've done interviews in Russian, and it's hard to do it in another language. And so just like everything, going to the dentist, you have to learn the language, the vocabulary for dentistry, if you like, for having a filling or something like that. You can't just go in and say filling because you don't know the words. So these are sorts of things that they'll work with you. And I've seen students that maybe work with Deloitte, now working with PwC, and it really is, I can't emphasize this enough, but you also get paid. Now, going on to about tuition fees. Our tuition fees are around this. These are some of our tuition fees for our courses. You pay in 3 installments, and you can either pay by BACS or you can pay via Western Union. And just to remind you, as I come to the end of this presentation, there are a lot of things to do at Southampton. We have a Premiership football club. We also have the Aegis Bowl. So if you like cricket, I would encourage you to do hospitality, to get involved in hospitality, because some students, last year, one of my students from India, he worked, 2 years ago rather, he worked on the World Cup cricket, and he actually was in the VIP lounge watching India play. So you can get to see some very good events. And this is a city centre, obviously not at the moment because it's summer, but we do have that space where we have the ice skating. In winter, we have ice skating. In the summer, it's Pims and Wimbledon, and it's a great place to be. So thank you very much for listening, and thank you AECC for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Donna. Thank you so much, and that was very informative. And next, I would like to invite Mr. Pranesh Kumar Sinha, who had been working with our on-campus since 2017. He was promoted to the role of South Asia Manager in the year 2020, and he has been part of the international recruitment industry for the past 14 years. In his previous roles, he had had the opportunity to work as the country manager for reputed UK institutions and had incorporated sales strategies in different markets via agency developments and key partnerships. Today, he will be telling us more about on-campus services. So over to you, Pranesh.
Thank you so much, Shari, for the lovely introduction. And I'll start sharing the presentation where I'll actually explain what are the services of on-campus and how are we related to University of Southampton. Yes, so we heard a lot of good things about University of Southampton from Donna. A very simple question to students, or should I say a simple resolution for students, is that if you have a desire or a wish to study at a university like the University of Southampton, that's ranked 77th globally among the top 15 universities in the UK. And at a given point of time, maybe when you have done your HSCs, your class 12s or bachelors, if you aren't able to meet the direct entry requirements of University of Southampton, does that mean that your dreams are over? That isn't the case, because this is what on-campus Southampton provides as services to students. We offer students foundation programs, usually 9 months, leading to 3 years of bachelor's, and pre-masters that could be 6 months or 9 months, leading to masters at the University of Southampton. So yes, if by any chance a student isn't meeting the direct entry requirements, but still has the desire or wish to make it to this world-class university, they can come first, study with us, and then progress to the University of Southampton. It would be quite pleasing to the ears when you hear about our background. We were the first foundation providers in the UK in 1952. So I would not hesitate in saying that we are a pioneer in pathway programs. Let's take it further. So applying to on-campus Southampton, leading to University of Southampton, I would just like to play a quick video over here.
Hi, Pranesh, it's slightly not audible.
So that was a short video on how on-campus Southampton could lead to University of Southampton. How does on-campus work is an interesting question. As I said, if students aren't meeting the direct entry requirements of the University of Southampton, what do we do with these students? Obviously, you need to have good level of English to study at a University of Southampton. So we work continuously on increasing the levels of English of the student, one. Second, obviously the academic section, the academic part. We then work extensively on making students stronger in academics, and then our expert support for students to progress to the University of Southampton. So this is how we work on a student so that the student can successfully progress to the University of Southampton. On campus gives you outstanding teaching support. There's a phenomenal track record of success, students progressing to the universities in the UK, quality assurance from day one. Students also learn how to adapt to the UK study environment. You understand the course delivery. You also understand as a student what could be expected out of you as a student when you are studying at University of Southampton, the main program after completing foundations of pre-masters with us. This is where exactly on campus Southampton students would study. This is the Imperial House, which is under 20 minutes from University of Southampton campus and has a city center locations, just 5 minutes walk from the city center. And then we have accommodations just 3 minutes walk from the Imperial House. So that's exactly the place where an on-campus Southampton student would be offered foundations or pre-master's program, as we say, and then they can lead to University of Southampton. Interestingly, I have been saying that we do offer foundations, and if we offer foundations, what are the different pathways that students can take up with us? Students can do business pathways, humanities and social sciences pathways, art and design pathways, and each pathway could lead to a range of degrees. Just for an example, if a student completes the business, economics, finance, and management pathway successfully, meets the progression requirements, then could lead to degrees like BSc Marketing, Accounting and Finance, Finance, Business Analytics. Similar is the case with humanities and social sciences, programs like Politics, Sociology, International Relations, LLB Law, and Art and Design, with some excellent courses like Fashion Design, Fashion Marketing, and Management, etc. So come study with us, a foundation program, and you have 3 pathways to pick up, and then that would lead to a number of degrees at University of Southampton. What about students who have already completed their bachelor's in Sri Lanka or otherwise worldwide, and if they are planning to make it to the University of Southampton, then we have different pathways to offer. That includes business, engineering and physical sciences, humanities, life sciences, art and design. So you can see that we have bigger options for Master's Foundation Program. Master's Foundation Program in layman's language is usually called as pre-masters. So a bachelor student has the option to pick up these pathways and then could lead to a number of degrees at the University of Southampton. And some examples have been outlined over here. This is exactly how the progression chart looks like. Let's say you are studying an undergraduate foundation program at ONCAMPUS, and you're a business pathway student. You would come study with us, complete the program, usually 9 months, and then you would progress to the year 1, and then year 2 and year 3. So 9 months plus 3 years is the usual duration of the program for a student who starts at on-campus Southampton, leading to University of Southampton. Similarly, for our bachelor students, you could see a master's foundation program being offered, and master's foundation program could be 2 terms, which is 6 months, or 3 terms, which are 9 months. And then on completion of that foundation program, students can progress to University of Southampton. So this is how the exact progression happens. I'll explain you these English requirements in the next slides, but let's move forward. Intakes is an important thing to understand, and English entry requirements plus the academic requirements. So for a student who is applying at the on-campus Southampton, would definitely like to understand what are the intakes with us. So September, we had 4 terms and 3 terms. We are still running the September intake, and we are accepting applications. So that's for 3 terms, which is 9 months. And in January, again, we would be running the foundation program, which would be 9 months. Similarly, if you look into the MFPs, the Master's Foundation Program, that again has 4 terms, 3 terms starting September, 3 terms starting January, and then 2 terms starting April. Eventually, all these programs will lead to September 2022 progressions to University of Southampton. Importantly, because students are applying for foundation programs, there is a specific English requirements that students need to meet, and that's the IELTS UKVI. That's the word, the IELTS UKVI, not the standard IELTS, but the IELTS UKVI. And you could see that if a student is applying for a 3 terms, 9 months foundations, would need 5 with no elements less than 5, a 4 terms, 4.5 with no elements less than 4.5. Potential student from Sri Lanka applying at on-campus Southampton should have O-levels, GCSE, IGCSE 5, C, or O-levels, GCSE, IGCSE 5, 4 to 9 new systems. And similarly for pre-masters, there are certain English requirements, those are needed to meet. Take example, if a student's planning to apply in April 2022, then should have at least 5.5 with no elements less than 5.5 at IELTS UKVI, or if the student is looking forward for a 3 terms, then 5 with no elements less than 5 for a pre-master students. And again, there is a minimum academic requirement that a student needs to meet, which is bachelor's degree, 50% plus from Sri Lanka. So on this slide, I've covered 3 things. 1, the number of intakes, 2, the English requirements, and 3rd, the academic requirements for on-campus Southampton, leading to University of Southampton. Important thing, students are always interested in knowing what's the course fee. So let me just try and focus on September intakes first, and a 3 terms, which is a 9 months foundation for business and humanities, would be £19,185. For art and design, it would be £21,175. That's £20,175. January, again, the course fee would remain the same. And obviously, as I said earlier, students would progress to September 2022 University of Southampton programs. That's the fee and term dates for the Master's Foundation program, as I said, popularly known as pre-masters. September business and humanities would be £21,195. That's £21,195. And art and design life sciences, £21,285. And for January, you could see that the course fee would remain the same. Yes, the April fee would be reduced because that's a 2 terms, 6 months pre-masters leading to University of Southampton. We have big bursaries to offer. I'll just explain that in the due course. Accommodations, when students are studying at on-campus Southampton, they would definitely look into accommodations, and usually international students love having accommodations near to the study center. So we have Mayflower, which is just around 9 minutes walk from on campus, and the price per term for an ensuite is £2,550. So that's one. Then there's Burnswick Apartments, which is again quite near to the on campus Southampton, like just 1 minute walk from on campus Southampton. And we have prices for the different type of rooms, those are available. So accommodation is not a challenge. We have accommodations which are absolutely near in proximity to on campus Southampton. September 21, what are the important points or messages that I would like to put across to students listening to us is that we have big student discounts. So the fee that I shared earlier, students will have discounts up to £3,000 for business pathways and £5,000 for all other pathways than business. We also have application deadlines, which is the 27th of August 2021 for the September 21 intake, and mode of study, which is interesting. So a student can study the entire program face-to-face with us, or could start a 1-term online leading to the 2nd terms face-to-face. So that's the mode of study that we are offering. This is an important thing. Specifically, most of the viewers might be knowing that India has been put off from the red list. India is not a part of the red list, but other countries are. And what kind of travel support package are we offering to countries which are under the red list? Interesting, because what we are doing is any student who arrives in the UK has to quarantine at a government approved hotel, and they need to quarantine in a government approved hotel. They submit a receipt to us and we deduct £1,000 from the last term of the fee. So that's interesting. We would be happy to compensate £1,000 for students coming from the red list countries. And with this, I have completed the presentation. If we have any questions, we are open to questions. Please let us know, Shari.
Thank you very much, Pranesh. You covered a lot of information about the Part-2 programs and student bursaries and discounts, and that is very informative. So thank you very much. And now we will be moving on to the last segment of today's session, which is the Q&A. Starting off, the questions that we had from the students for University of Southampton was covered during the session when Donna explained in the slides. So there is one question now we got from through Facebook from one of our students, and that was just one moment. The student would like to know if the Southampton has any preference for the vaccine, as in if the student is already vaccinated and he has got the Covishield vaccine, but is there any preference, any specific vaccine the student needs to get in order to be able to do a program in University of Southampton?
So if you're an Indian student, or if you arrive from an amber list country, you have to avoid quarantine in either your university accommodation or private accommodation. You need to have been vaccinated in either the UK overseas countries, which is places like Gibraltar, Turks and Caracas. There's a number of them, but it doesn't include South Asian states, or been vaccinated by an approved vaccine in the EU or in the US. And if you have been vaccinated in the US, you have to have residency rights. So either a green card, a residency visa, or a US passport. So Covishield, it doesn't matter if you've had Pfizer or AstraZeneca, if you've been vaccinated not in the EU, and there's or EU countries, there's a list on the government website, the US or a UK overseas territory, then you still have to quarantine. But what you can do is you can do a test and release after 5 days. So when you come to the UK, if you are an amber list student, then you would be able to you'd have to do a test on the 2nd and 8th day, and but you can have an extra test on the 5th day, which will release you from quarantine. Now, when you come to your university, you will have the option to take if you haven't been fully vaccinated, to have Pfizer, AstraZeneca, or any of the other approved vaccines. I hope that makes that clear, Pranesh, or
yes, it does. It does. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you very much, Donna, once again. So there is one last question from my end to Pranesh. So due to the pandemic, many students are considering online study options. So Cambridge Education Group's digital arm has partnered with prestigious high-quality UK universities to deliver online and blended courses to a global market on a part-time flexible basis. Most importantly, these courses are delivered using cutting-edge tablet-friendly technology. And could you please elaborate on how this could support Sri Lankan students who are considering online study options during the pandemic situation, and later how they can transfer these programs from online to on campus?
So yes, that's a very good question. Now, as I earlier said in the presentation, that we have both options. A student can either start face-to-face the entire program, and if students are from the red list country and they usually opt for the first term online, then we have a complete facility where students can do the program online. And we have that top class system which supports students extremely well on online courses. So they need to be absolutely comfortable in understanding that they get exactly at their home that they can accept, that they can expect at the on-campus Southampton in terms of the study facilities. So yes, if students wish to do the one term online, they can study one term online, leading to the January face-to-face. So yes, there's a complete support in offering online programs, and students are not supposed to worry about it. It's quite a diligent system, and students do not miss out on anything academically that they would expect in physical at on-campus Southampton. So yes, if there are students who wish to join online first, they're most welcome. Or if they plan to start face-to-face from the beginning, they're most welcome. Yeah.
Could you also tell me a little bit about the study load? So let's say the student is starting online and then moving
Yes.
on to on-campus. So when the student is studying online, are they expected to take the same study load as on campus? As in, like, you know, let's say he's supposed to take 4 units per semester. So does the student have to take all 4 units, or can he just take 1 or 2 instead?
No, it's exactly what a student would be studying at on-campus Southampton in physical. There won't be any difference because we won't compromise on the system of study, on the method of study, the quality of study. So students would study exactly the same what a student could expect being in physical at on-campus Southampton, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks again, Pranesh. So now we have, so that's actually all from the Q&A session from my end. So now we have come to an end for today's session. And I would like to thank both of you once again for joining us and helping us conduct this informative session. And also thanks everybody who joined this session, and we will be having 3 more sessions on the coming days with University of Hull and University of Ashton and UCLan. So I would like to ask everyone to stay tuned, and thanks once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harry.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.